Welcome to Brite Bites, the show where we have bite-sized conversations with friends about benefits. I'm your host, Spencer, and on this show, we'll skip the 2-hour deep dives and have short, candid conversations with the people shaping the employee benefits world. I'm wearing my white sweater and my white hat, and I'm calling in from the inside of a cloud here in Salt Lake City, where we're having a fun snow day. I guess fun unless you're trying to commute to the mouth of the canyon. In our show today, we're going to get straight into it. We have one serious topic, one chance for our guests to share real insights and experience from the field, and one fun question to keep it light in closing. Whether you are a broker, an HR leader, part of the carrier teams, a tech builder, someone who lives and breathes benefits, or someone who's just a little bit benefit curious, you're in the right place. Let's go ahead and get into it. Today, we are privileged to be joined by my friend Adam Smith. Adam currently serves as the Chief Marketing Officer of PlanSight. PlanSight is the only end-to-end benefits marketing platform that uses AI and automation to ensure every renewal and RFP is consistent, accurate, and fast. Adam, welcome to Brite Bites.
Thanks for having me, Spencer.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to have you on the show today, excited to get into it. And as advertised and promised, we will get straight into it and keep it light here. So for our first topic, I would love to get your perspective on a conversation that I'm sure you're having every single day. Brokers and general agencies today have more technology available than ever. Quoting tools, enrollment platforms, agency management systems, contact management systems, analytics and benchmarking tools, not to mention AI is going to be layered on top of literally everything. What is the biggest gap that still exists in the broker's tech stack today?
Yeah, that's a good question. I don't know that there are glaring gaps as far as what technology is able to do in the broker's workflows. I think the biggest thing that's still missing and that people are working on is tying all of the pieces together so that it's a true workflow. So like you mentioned, you have benefits guides, you have what we do where we're working through the RFP process, you have their ben admin systems, you have all of these pieces that have evolved to be really tech forward, and they live in a lot of different systems, and nobody loves to log into 15 different systems. And now layer AI on top of that they're using. They have to log into Claude, and they have to log into Gemini, and they have to log into Employee Navigator, and they have to log into Benefit Point or Epic or Brite, and there's a lot of manually moving things to other places. So the solve that we're working on, I know you're working on, we have an integration together, is tying all those things together so that when it happens in one place, it happens in all the places. That's when the technology really starts to streamline processes. And I feel like that's what's missing, and then what the next piece is in tying all those together.
I love that. And a couple insights that I would like to just double click on is maybe just highlighting your point of view and the topic, the very real point of view that maybe it's not gaps. What we're actually needing to see out there is interconnectivity and integration of systems that bring these workflows together. So kind of double clicking on that a little bit and maybe overlaying this thought of kind of how we are planning to connect our two platforms together. But I'm just curious, what outcomes, what value is going to be delivered to the brokers, the GAs, and the folks doing that work when they have integrated and interconnected systems?
Yeah, so that's where the real time saving comes. Like each of these provides some time savings for certain processes, the way that I look at it. So for example, Brite saves time on putting the benefit guides together, right? It saves a lot of time there. PlanSight saves time on the RFP process, requesting proposals, renewals, putting all of that into spreadsheets, getting it ready to put in front of the employer groups, and then once they select, putting the in-force plans, storing the in-force plans to start from the next year. So it's saving time in each of those places. Where the real-time savings starts to happen is, okay, let's say you go out for renewal and you do this RFP process and you get all of the plans back. You get it all in front of the employer. Now you get the in-force plans in place. So if at that point, in-force plan goes back to your benefit point or Epic, and then first of all, pulls census data from Employee Navigator, this pushes back into Employee Navigator, pushes back into Benefit Point, pushes to Brite so that benefit guides are made. Now if you don't have those, then the process is, okay, in-force plan is in place. Now let's take in-force plan and transfer all that information over to Brite and push that information into Benefit Point or Epic and push that information into Employee Navigator. And that takes people hours, right? And so that's where the real-time saving comes, is if the click of a button says, okay, this is the in-force plan, it's everywhere now. So that's what I mean by once all of those integrations are made in the right places and push automatically, real-time savings happens, because you're not taking from spreadsheet to presentation to benefit guide to Benefit Point or Epic or any of your other systems that you're using to Employee Navigator, and having a team that needs to do all of those transfers. That's where the real magic starts to happen.
And I love that you use the word magic, because we all know that when busy season hits, like time savings, it is magic. It's going to allow these account teams to focus more on real strategies and things they can do to impact their relationships with their customers, rather than being buried in administrative burdens. And with the time savings as well, another value from my perspective to call out is you were just mapping out all of these different points where data is going to flow one way and another. If there is no interconnectivity there, you're introducing opportunities for human error. Accuracy can lead to issues downstream if you get it wrong. More time savings on that side of things as well. So let's pivot a little bit. You are a marketer. You're a CMO in a pretty complex industry, right? There's a lot of different stakeholders involved, a lot of different moving pieces. I'm curious, what skills do you think are going to be the most important for marketers working in insurance and benefits today and in the future?
Yeah, that's a good question. And you sent these questions over to me beforehand. As I thought about that, the things that kept coming to mind are, first of all, in the employee benefits space, there's a vast majority of people that you're trying to get the attention of that are doing the same thing for their job, right? They are trying to get employers' attention all day long. So all of these, if you think you're going to find this holy grail, here's the strategy. You've forgot this AI piece that's going to get all of these people to convert. You're wrong. This is if you find out about it, if you're not the first person to make it up and find out about it, they probably know about it, because they're probably trying to do the same thing to get the attention of their customers. And that's when your audience is that tech forward and that sales and marketing focused, you have to have those relationships. So it's not just, do I have the right technology? Am I using AI to just mass email everyone in my industry? That's not going to work. It's targeted. It's getting to know your buyers. It's building that persona out to the point that you can put the right content in front of them in the right places. And it's not just launch this email campaign and you're good. That's not going to happen. So I had a friend of mine, Sims Tillerson, on the podcast that we do. He came in and he said, I don't think we have the luxury of not having a multi-touch marketing effort anymore. So it's not just, we're just going to turn this on and we're there. It's, okay, this is going to be first what introduces the message. It's going to get in front of them this way. Once that gets in front of them, then this type of a conversation is going to start, and it's going to start here. And then we'll connect on LinkedIn. And from there, we'll move that conversation to hopefully a demo, right? So you've got things that I'm seeing that actually work well. Physical mailers, actually connecting on LinkedIn. Don't go and just connect and send your pitch to them in the first message. Email that's actually intended for them, not like, you just sent the same email to 7,000 people. Those are the things that I'm saying work really well. And then followed up typically with a phone call from the person that's doing all of those other pieces. I would say steer clear in this industry of the mass solutions and focus on how you can systematize and operationalize the one-to-one connections more frequently, if that makes sense.
It does make sense, and incredible tactical insights shared there. And I think you hear very frequently just how relationship based this industry is. And one of the things we talked about with our last guest was just the importance of authenticity. Thank you for calling out the LinkedIn component there. I know so many professionals in this industry are on LinkedIn, and we all receive the cold pitches right after the connection, and it's tiring. So authenticity is the right way to build trust. But wow, what incredible tactical insights shared. Thank you. Thank you for passing those along. Before we jump to our fun question, I do want to take just an opportunity to let our audience hear a little bit more about you. You're relatively newer in this space, coming up on a year in seat. I'm curious, what parallels did you find or are you finding between your previous life and where you are today that were unexpected and surprising? And what differences have you found that really caught your attention as far as how you need to alter your approach?
Yeah, that's a great question. So I've always approached marketing from a standpoint of the head of marketing should understand the market almost more thoroughly than anyone in the company. And the reasoning for that is you have to message exactly right. You have to put that message in exactly the right place. You have to know where they live. You have to know what message is going to resonate. You have to know their pain points. You have to know the things that they are loving already. You have to know all of those things about as many of your potential customers as possible. So from my previous career, I owned a business in that industry before I started marketing specifically in that industry. And so that helped. But I was at events, I was in all of the groups that I could be in, learning, listening, and I've jumped right into that here as well, because I need to know, what are you dealing with on a daily basis that's a nuisance that you love to have solved? How does this process work exactly? Because you can solve a process, and I talked about that, right? You need to tie all of these technology pieces together as a process that really helps things. And you can solve a process for one agency, and it doesn't even get close to solving a process for the next agency. You've probably realized that as well. Every agency has their own process that they've developed over years and years. So you have to get that close to the industry, that you're starting to learn the nuances of each agency's process. That helps you understand, okay, how do I message so that it crosses more of the needs off of the list for more people, right? Because I could go to one agency, think that I understand it, put a marketing piece together that solves that agency's pain point. And if I haven't gotten enough familiarity with other agencies, that might not land for any other agencies. So I need to know, okay, what are all of the account managers dealing with? And I need to know as many as possible. I need to listen. I need to be connected with them. I need to be hearing what they're saying. Same with producers, right? I need to know what they're doing, what their pain points are. So that translates over really well. And that's one thing that I did. Some of the new things for this industry, and I mentioned one of them already, I came from the dental industry, and you don't get most dentists or dental practice team members that are also really, really focused on the marketing and sales piece of things. In fact, they kind of view sales as a four-letter word. And like, if you say, we need to work on your sales process, they'll say, we don't sell. So you go from messaging to this clinician, to this clinical team, to this admin team, to people who are sellers and marketers themselves. You have to shift the messaging. You don't get the luxury of kind of the cool marketing tools without them knowing that those cool marketing tools. It's like trying to market to a marketer, right? I get 17 cold emails in the morning, and I can tell you what tool they used. I can tell you exactly what AI they used to find out information about me. Like, that's the type of change that you make when you go from an agency, these agencies that are sales and marketing focused. When you're targeting those people, they have those insights. So you have to, that's why you don't get the if I did that in dentistry, they would be like, whoa, how does he know this about me? Right? Where in this industry, it's like, oh yeah, you used this tool, right? Or we're using that as well. That's so that's kind of one of the things that I've had to shift, is some of the traditional marketing that works for a lot of marketers doesn't work the same way. So you just have to think through the strategy differently.
Wow. Well, I'm glad I asked the question. I would have been remiss if I didn't, but I know personally I'm going to go back and listen to your response on that one, because incredible insights. And being a person who is also relatively new to this industry, I can relate in a lot of ways. And I've always held true and known the importance of just becoming a knowledge professional and being a curious individual. But wow, what amazing insights for any marketers that are tuning in here today. Okay, so as promised, we're going to kind of wrap it up with a little bit of a fun, light, and silly question. So what we have for you today is, when was the last time that you sprinted at full speed? And what were you doing? A little fun stat here too. Apparently 95% of all adults over the age of 30 never sprint again, probably for good reason. But let's hear what you got, Adam.
Cool. Well, I turn 40 next month, so I am over 30. The last time that I sprinted was probably 2 months ago. I have 4 children that are incredibly competitive, and they were running sprints in the backyard and seeing who could make it out to the garden and back the fastest. And my third daughter is very, very fast. My second daughter, my third child, is very fast, and she had the record. And it was almost the end of the night, and they'd been doing it with some friends. The friend whose family was over is a very, very good runner, runs ultra marathons, and so they were like, okay, let's see if you guys can beat us. So they challenged me and my friend that was over to see if we could beat their times, and so I had to sprint full out, and I beat them.
So you are no lingering hamstring injuries or
you know, the record holder at that time was 10, so I'm glad that I could still beat her. Anyway, so that's the last time, and no, I wasn't injured.
Okay, I love it. I know I'm gonna have to. My oldest is gonna be turning 5, so I hopefully got a couple years where I can be sprinting at the 70% range. And she's a quick one. Maybe don't have as much time, but I'll have to stay loose either way.
Yeah.
Amazing. Well, Adam, it's been a privilege having you on. I thoroughly enjoyed this conversation. For those tuning in and who made it to the end here, what is the best way to get in touch with you, to connect with you individually?
Yeah, they can connect with me on LinkedIn. That's probably the easiest way. Pretty active there. And if they're interested in learning more about PlanSight, they can just go to the website, plansight.com. Happy to walk them through how it works, any questions that they have. But yeah, easiest way to connect is on LinkedIn.
I'm Smith on LinkedIn and plansight.com.
You'll want to probably search Adam Smith PlanSight, because Adam Smith is a pretty common name. If you just search Adam Smith on LinkedIn, you're not going to probably find me.
Yeah, I'm proud of myself for not making any invisible hand or economic comments there. Definitely something that was in my head. Here I am at the end making that comment anyways. But Adam, thank you again. It's been a pleasure. Appreciate you joining on the show, and we'll look forward to tuning into yours as well. For everyone listening in, thank you, and we'll see you next time on Brite Bites.